Cloudcast Media presents from the massive studios in Raleigh, North Carolina. This is the Cloudcast with Aaron Delp and Brian Gracely, bringing you the best of cloud computing from around the world.
Good morning, good evening, wherever you are, and welcome back to the Cloudcast. We are coming to you live from the massive Cloudcast studios here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Aaron, how are you doing, man? How you been?
Not too bad, not too bad. How have you been?
I've been
You've
good.
been traveling a good bit, and
A little bit, yeah. Did some traveling and went out and my older daughter celebrated her 21st birthday, so we got to go celebrate that, which was a lot of fun. And yeah, things are good. Things have been good. So
Nice.
we got some stuff to announce. I guess we got some things that are changing around the massive studios, if you will.
We've been hinting at it. We've been hinting at it for a while, and we put it off till after 1,000 shows. We got 1,000 shows under our belt.
That's right. That's right.
So now it's time.
Yeah. So I think maybe a little bit of background would be useful. So, you know, if you've been listening for a little while now, you realize that, you know, we've always tried to keep the show, you know, more or less towards not the bleeding edge of technology, but sort of the forward edge of what's going on. And, you know, if you've been listening for the last couple of years, you've realized that the cloud part of the Cloudcast has been less and less of the programming, and the AI part of the silent part of the AI Cloudcast has been much more prominent over the last 3 years, and I think that's just kind of relative to where the market has changed. And so we started having this conversation probably about a year ago. And we sort of said, we're covering a lot more AI stuff. It is, it's front and center for, what most of the market is talking about. It has sort of broader ramifications. Should we keep doing the Cloudcast period? And then, if not, if so, or if not, is there an easy way to sort of transition what we do to something AI related? And so, yeah, we've been talking about this for about a year, and I think this is sort of the culmination of where we're changing and where we're going.
Yep. And the other thing too, I would add, like we've always said, the origin of this show is like a little bit of us being able to stay on top of trends, staying on top of emerging tech, and then kind of share that with others. And we've done a couple pivots over the years, and we've done a couple spin-off, podcasts over the years, and I think the time is for the next, version of the podcast and the massive studios for sure.
Yeah. And I think the timing's about right. Like we said, cloud computing has become very prevalent and very stable. This show tends to, kind of do its best work when there's a lot of change happening, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of, things emerging and us, trying to put the pieces together. So, 15 years of doing this, more or less to the date, 1,000+ shows feels like a pretty good run for the Cloudcast. So what are we doing next? What's coming? What's changing? What might stay the same?
Yeah. So the number one thing is there's going to be some changes for sure. I will say this though, the changes, at least for the listener out there, if you're getting this in the audio form, the feed stays the same, right? But we are going to be changing the show and the name and the logo and everything else that goes with it. And another thing that I also wanted to point out was think of it as we're also going to be making the move to video as well. We want to update everything. Certainly audio, 15 years ago was certainly the thing. And gosh, it was even before streaming audio. I mean, there's a lot of folks that downloaded the show way back when. And so we're going to do an optimization and updating of our workflows, our tools, our editing, kind of everything. So you'll see a bit of a facelift. Hopefully in the quality in what we're delivering as well. Yeah. So with that, what's the new name, Brian?
So naming is hard. We wanted to do something that, the Cloudcast sort of had the advantage that, we grabbed that name really early on. Cloud computing was a thing. So Cloudcast turned out to be a very good name for something as simple as it was. It's funny. There are actually a lot of other Cloudcasts out there. So we never went after them, but we were lucky to have that name. The new name is going to be called The Reasoning Show, we'll probably just sort of shorten it to Reasoning, but it will be available at reasoning.show. And the reason for that is, no pun intended, we feel like, at least at this time, we didn't want to just sort of say AI, because AI is a very broad thing. We felt like reasoning was not only, had a technology element to it in that it is, kind of the foundation for a lot of, how some of the new things that are happening with AI, but it also, kind of got to the core of what we do on this show, which is try and make sense of a lot of things happening, a lot of data points, a lot of market trends, a lot of people taking actions and stuff. And so, so the Cloudcast is going to become the Reasoning Show, or, Reasoning for short. It will be available, probably starting around March 1st at reasoning.show. What we're going to do is in all the places that you probably pick up the Cloudcast today. So all of your podcast players, it'll just sort of flip over. You won't have to change anything. You won't have to resubscribe to anything. It'll just be there. And like Aaron mentioned, it's not us so much wanting to pivot to video. It's not as if we have great faces and we want to be seen on video. It's just that so much of how people are finding and acquiring new information is coming through various forms of social media, and the social media is much more video and visual oriented. So we'll be continuing to put the show out in audio format. For those of you that just want to listen while you're driving or running or walking the dog or mowing the grass or whatever you do, that's still going to stay the same. It'll absolutely be the same. We expect the show to probably be in the same, less than an hour sort of range, probably always closer to 35 to 45 minutes or 30 minutes, something like that. But in order to be able to help us grow the show, you have to adapt to, what is a growing, more video medium. And I don't know that we necessarily expect anybody to watch long form, but there is a growing audience that's starting to do that. They're starting to learn about it through clips and reels and all this sorts of stuff like that. So we want to make sure that we can reach as broad an audience as possible. And the Cloudcast audience has been great up to this point. We hope you guys stick around, and we hope we're able to kind of go and find even broader audience as we get into AI. So that's sort of
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that's sort of the first thing as we go through the who, what, why, where, and when. That's that'll be the big thing we're announcing. And again, we'll mostly be kicking that off in March. So sort of March 1st or March 4th going forward. It'll be the Reasoning Show in all the same places that you used to find the Cloudcast. Is the simplest way to think about it.
Yep, and we will still be doing some Cloudcast content. Like, we're not abandoning the cloud, to be clear. It's not going to be the first level, if you will, right? Because as Brian mentioned, it's pretty stable these days, but we will still be doing cloud shows as things of interest pop up, and there'll still be the monthly cloud news of the month that we'll be doing going forward as well. Yep. So for us, it's a way to expand out the listener base. I mean, we're still going to be hosting the show, but we might have some new folks come on, some rotating guests and some rotating co-hosts as well. And so we want to just use this as a way to evolve the format and the content.
The other thing that we get a lot of feedback on from people is, we're extremely grateful for anybody who's listened to the show for a long time. And we know there are some diehards, and we're lucky to run into them at events and shows and stuff, and people that have told us they've listened for a long time. But for anybody who's sort of new to the show, I think the one, there's probably many, but maybe one of the greatest kind of flaws of the show is if anybody were to, want to start learning about this stuff now and they jump into the show, there really is no easy way to jump into what we do. There's no, there's no sort of like first three steps. We've tried some things like Cloudcast Basics in the past. I think that turned off some people that felt like maybe it was too beginner. So the other thing we're going to try and do, and we're going to figure out this format as we go, is we're going to try and put the shows into a little more of sort of categorical buckets, if you will. We'll figure out what those are. We'll publish them. But that way, if, for example, you are like, hey, I'm trying to learn some AI stuff, but I'm more of a software developer, so I'm interested in like agentic, but maybe I'm also interested in some of the business side of things because I'm, going to do this as part of my business. I want to understand some of the economics. We're gonna do a better job of tagging those shows. We're going to do a better job of trying to have to be consistent each month with at least one from each one of the buckets or categories as best we can. So we're also trying to be a little more favorable to anybody who's newer to this space, newer to the show, to have some on-ramp for being like, okay, this is what I'm interested in right now, and I may be interested in the other topics as well. But at least if I jump in September of this year, there will be a half dozen shows that I can be like, okay, those 5, 6, 7 are going to get me a good foundation for some aspect of this. And we're excited to be a little less kind of sporadic, with the topics that we have. It doesn't mean we will cover maybe less of them, but we're going to try and be a little better organized than we were with Cloudcast.
Yep, absolutely. I think we've learned 1 or 2 lessons in the last 15 years of doing this. And so it's time to take some of that learning and apply it forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I do think we will, just like we've had Cloudcast Basics for quite a while, and it still gets a decent number of people to jump in. I think one of the things that we'll also do at some point, probably not in March, but sometime when our schedules free up, we'll also probably do like an AI basics or a reasoning basics, that we'll probably try and do a better job of keeping it updated for anybody, again, who's new that jumps in and is like, hey, what's an LLM? Hey, what does an agent mean? What do some of those things mean? And then I think the other thing we're going to do is, we've learned a lot over the years. I know there are people who love the format of the show. It's 30 minutes. They can get a run in, they can do a commute, they can walk their dog. They sort of know exactly what it's going to be. But we've also seen, and we've had a lot of fun, listening to some other shows and some of the other formats that people have out there. So whether it's, a 15-minute, one topic type of show, or, more, whether it's fast paced or whatever, there's a number of sort of formats that we like, that we'll probably borrow from some of the other shows that we like a lot. And we'll be experimenting with that a little bit. So, there'll still be plenty of shows that are in that 30, 35-minute range, but, there's going to be some times when, a topic comes up or a topic format just sort of fits better for something else. So we're going to experiment with some stuff. We're going to love to hear your guys' feedback if you like it. If you don't, as always, we'll give you a way to give us feedback on the show.
Yep, absolutely. And again, just to bring it up one more time, I mean, the biggest thing is keep listening, please. Hopefully there'll be nothing you do. The transition will just be very seamless. We're going to kind of flip over, in the feed, we'll flip the name over in the description and the cover art and everything else. And, all of the old podcasts will still be there as well.
Yeah. So we still expect to do it on Wednesdays and Sundays. It'll be, like we said, it'll be in audio format. You won't have to change anything. If you want to pick up video format, or if you want to subscribe to some of the social channels, you'll start to see some of the video stuff there. Mostly, I would expect it's going to be in clips. But again, I'm always surprised to hear that people sometimes will watch long form video. Same way that I've watched my kids grow up with a 7-inch, 5-inch screen in their hand when we have an 85-inch TV sitting on the wall. It's it's always weird to me sometimes how people consume stuff. So couple of other things that we're going to try and do, and we'll get the details about this out as we go along. We would love to have a better relationship with our audience. I think that, one of the other things that we sort of missed early on, and we should have done it, we just kind of got lazy about it. We are going to try and put on a maybe weekly, maybe bi-weekly newsletter, but we do want to kind of get to know our audience a little bit better. So expect to see some survey stuff. Who are you? What do you like? What are you interested in? It helps us kind of tailor the show better to what people like. It helps us, it's not by any means intended to sort of, go off and like, we're never going to sell your information. We're never going to give away a reader list. We're never going to, give it to advertisers, but it does help us. If there are things that you guys are more interested in, it helps us with that. And then the writing part of it, helps us think through some things as well. So expect to see some survey stuff fairly soon. And then, we're going to get the newsletter running finally after all these years. So expect to see that coming out, probably April-ish timeframe once we get past a few things here as well. So,
Brian, who's going to do the website?
long running gag. Aaron is not doing the website. Actually, the other thing that's sort of fun about this is we sort of told ourselves that while we're retooling, and there is a long running joke, because a lot of the tools that we use or have used on the podcast for years and years, other than just recently, have been a lot of things that we've used for a long time. And it's a little bit of like old man knows how to use tool, even though better tool is available to them. We have been very, very adamant that as we sort of rebuild the show, retool the show, we're doing everything kind of AI centric. It's forcing us to learn some new things. It's exposing us to some new technology. The new website, for however it looks and whatever functionality it has, We've been entirely vibe coding the thing. It's been kind of fun to watch the process. We're trying to add some capabilities that'll be sort of interesting, make it a little more dynamic. But yeah, I will be on the hook for the website this time. After somebody figured out after 15 years that the old website, cloudcast.net, which I think we'll still leave up for a little while, at least maybe we'll redirect it, was literally a one-page blog. It had no more than one page. It's just been one running blog for 15 years. But the new one will be much more modern looking, hopefully adaptable to mobile and stuff website. So that'll be on me. If things break, they can yell at me.
That's the best part, right?
Yeah.
There, just so you know.
That's right.
I'm off the hook. It only took me 15 years to pass that responsibility.
That's right. So that's the if there is any lesson to be learned from the Cloudcast kids, you can put things off. You can put off your to-do list for 15 years and still be employed. We haven't fired Aaron for not doing his one. He only had one job. He had one job for 15 years. He didn't do it.
Yep.
Anything else, man? Anything else we should pass along to folks? I think this will be this is sort of our what are we doing next? Somewhat farewell to the Cloudcast. We're going to do one last Cloud News of the month. Brandon's going to join us. That'll go out Sunday, so right around the end of February, and then we're going to jump into March with reasoning shows. We've actually already recorded one, and we have a new sort of famous guest, I guess we'll say, or recognized guest, just like the same way that we had on episode 3, Christian Riley being the president of the private cloud. We have sort of I don't want to say a replacement to Christian because nobody can replace him, but we got a fun early guest. So we're looking forward to the new shows.
Love it. Awesome, man.
All right. With that, we're going to wrap it up, folks. Thank you to everybody who has been a listener of the Cloudcast for 15 years or 15 episodes or 15 minutes, whatever it's been. It has been a pretty wild ride. Obviously, we're going to continue on in sort of a new format, but wish us well. Hopefully, we are not making an absolutely colossal mistake to take a brand that is relatively well known and scrap it for something that, who knows, maybe AI is all hype. But I think we kind of believe that it's going to be around for a little while. So thanks all for listening. Thanks for telling a friend. And we're going to ask you to keep telling a friend once things move over to reasoning and all the new places you'll be able to get that. So expect to see that. We'll get details out in the next couple of shows and show notes. So with that, we'll talk to you later, and we will talk to you on the last Cloudcast and then on to the reasoning. Talk to you later.
Thank you for listening to the Cloudcast. Please visit thecloudcast.net to find more shows, show notes, videos, and everything social media.